I think CBC has a fabulous history and a legacy behind it that we know is important and we build on it. And I think the benefits of actually having a great base of an understanding and a relationship with Canadians on a daily basis. You know, they come to us, they listen to us on radio, they watch us on television. Now with the digital interactions that we have with them, they're constantly being involved in and playing with, you know, the CBC brand. They depend on us, they enjoy us, they come to us for information. We just really touch their lives in so many places that we have been a part of their households for years. And to make sure that we are consistently there and growing and actually something that's of value to them is something that we're really dedicated to, and I think that really comes back to us when we see how influential in the end our brand is. Everything in media changes all the time, and so it's really important for us, and especially as a public broadcaster. I think the thing is too, there is embedded in the CBC an understanding that we are here to serve, and great brands serve. Great brands understand their constituents, they understand the people who participate within the brand, and they have a relationship with them. And in the last year, there's just been an explosion of everything from digital, social media, and we've been there. Because we have that unique position where, as a company, an organization, a media organization in Canada, we create a lot of programming, which is not what happens at the other big media broadcasters. They import programming. We have in-depth relationships, not just with our audiences, but with the content that we make, and we connect the two. So social media has been great, digital has been great, and that's really expanded, I think, our relationship on a daily conversation with Canadians. I think presence. I think, the ubiquitous nature of our brand, who we are as we're in with people on a daily basis. I think, they turn to us. I think embedded in all that are those other parts of like authoritativeness and trustworthiness, because you won't have a presence if you're not trustworthy. You won't have a presence if you don't engage people. I think for me, the opportunity and the benefit that CBC has is the fact that its presence is earned. And it's enjoyed by Canadians. They like that presence. They welcome our presence. And I think we're not just there floating around, we're actually there engaging with Canadians. And so our presence is an active presence. We have an active relationship with Canadians. It has been for a long time an understanding at CBC that the brand is an important thing, and that the brand represents, your identity as an organization, as a company. And what we do in order to build on that and grow it, we have had issues. We have had times in the past when our brand has not been the shiniest or the most attractive of brands, but yet it's always been there. And so I think we take opportunities like this to understand what Canadians want from us, and so that we build into this brand an understanding of what they see us as. Our brand is a reflection of what Canadians want us to be. And so I think how we've been able to increase our brand presence or increase our relationship with Canadians is kind of the same. You understand that we are here to serve, we're here to reflect Canadians, and so they tell us what they expect the brand to be, and we build on that. I think the times when CBC has maybe gotten off the path in terms of the brand and the recognition that it has across the country is when it has decided on its own what the brand should be. We do best when we listen to Canadians and they tell us what our brand is, and we do our best to fulfill that with them. I think we're living in a really interesting time, and as much as people can complain about the pressures and what goes on and how fast things are moving, particularly in the media space, we're really lucky to be around in a time when we have opportunities that are not so linear, that we have such a plethora of new avenues and new places that we can go and explore along with Canadians and along with people who want to engage in what we do. That I think the biggest thing that keeps me up at night is, how do you do it all? How do you afford it all, mostly, in our particular situation? Because we're, as you know, partly government funded and partly we earn revenue on our own. opportunities like this, the fact that we can celebrate the value of our brand, are great assets to us when we're talking to clients and to people who want to be associated with our brand, and that's wonderful. But sometimes the work that you do in making sure that the other funding pieces, that the government funding is also there for you in a time, that worries me.
Is it the funding issue?
It's the funding issues. We have just recently, at the height of our success, I would say, and probably at least the last 20 years in terms of audience engagement on radio, television, and just setting records like crazy, we get cut in terms of our government funding. So it's worrying to me that there's not a long-term view and a long-term investment in something that ultimately we are the creators of content in a way that no other media company is in Canada, and an investment back into Canadian talent across the country. And so what keeps me up at night is the ability to keep that going. I think the ones that take things on differently in a new way, like the innovative brands. I love what there's kind of stalwarts. There's, in my world, there's the BBCs and the PBSs, and there are those brands that kind of do things similar to what we do, and I think we stand alongside those. But what I find fun are Apple, and what Yahoo's doing, and what Google's doing, and Virgin in a more kind of almost retail type of space, and people just kind of reinventing and doing things in an interesting way, and making sure that, again, their brands are approachable, believable, and connect with people. I think that's, when I look at those brands, and I look at, Apple, particularly in the time of Steve Jobs and the great innovations that they came up with, I think that's a fantastic brand to be associated with, and just a company as well. So I think, I like to look for, you've got the basis and the understanding of what a good business is, but that you actually take risks and do something interesting with it, and build on the successes you get from the risks that go right. I think that's fascinating to me. Loblaws.